Hello and welcome back for another MagicSchool.ai video. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to use the rubric generator. The rubric generator does exactly what it sounds like. You give it a grade level, you give it some standards, you give it optionally a title and a description, and it will try to give you at least a framework to start building a rubric from. It will give you a rubric, but it might not necessarily be ready to use. You may need to do some tweaking to it. But again, following the 80-20 rule, let the AI do 80% of the work, and then you can do the other 20%. So again, I'm going to do a couple of examples here. I'm going to do an 11th grade one, and I'm going to do an 7th grade one. And what I've done this time is I've gone and I've actually, from the Common Core, I pulled out a couple of 11th grade standards. So I'm going to just copy these really quickly and paste them in to the standards. So I've got a cite strong and thorough textual evidence to support analysis is one of the standards. And then analyze a case in which grasping a point of view requires distinguishing what's directly stated from what's really meant. For the assignment title, I'm going to call it Penelope's Journal, or something like that. And the reason I'm doing that is because the assignment description that we're going to give, and I just pulled this from someplace online. The assignment description is: you've read a passage from the Odyssey and viewed the painting Penelope and the Suitors. Using what you've learned from these sources, write an original narrative in the form of a journal entry from Penelope's point of view, describing what happens after she finishes weaving her cloth. Your journal entry should offer insight into Penelope's thoughts and interactions with other characters. I'm going to make this out of a 4-point scale, and I'm not going to put anything in here, but you can tell it to make sure it includes certain things in the rubric if you would like to. But I'm just going to let this run the way it is right now. So 11th grade with those two 11th grade standards and this description on a 4-point scale, we say generate, and it's going to give me a rubric that has textual evidence, interpretation of point of view, insight into Penelope's thoughts, writing, craft, and presentation as the 4 categories. And again, I could go and put in there, for example, please include a category for grammar and English conventions. And it should now give me a new rubric with that extra piece in there. And so notice that it's going to give us each of the categories, and then the 4-point, 3-point, 2-point, 1-point, and some criteria for each of those categories. So again, you can copy this and paste it into a Google Doc, or you can have it export directly to a Google Doc if you want to. And like I told you before, you can use this chat box down at the bottom to ask the AI, to have a conversation with the AI and ask it to rework what you're doing. Now, that is the 11th grade one. Now let's jump down to a 7th grade, just so you can see how it will scale the rubric expectations around the grade level and the standards that we give it. So I'm going to leave the description exactly the same, but I'm going to take a couple of 7th grade Common Core standards instead. They're very similar to the high school ones, citing several pieces of evidence, and then analyzing how the author develops points of view within the work. So if we do that, leave it at a 4-point scale and say, I'm going to say, please include a category on grammar and English conventions, just so we get the same thing as what we got on the 11th grade one without having to generate it twice. And just looking at it, you can see already, like, The amount of text in each of these boxes is less than it was for the 11th grade one. So it's simplified the language. It's simplified what it's trying to expect the students are able to do. So again, this is just a starting point. Nobody's expecting that you take this, paste it in, and it's going to be a perfect rubric for you to use with your students. However, it's a great starting point. It gives you the structure, it gives you the framework, and all you got to do is just maybe tweak the language a little bit, add another category or whatever. But I think this definitely can save a lot of people time on creating rubrics for assignments that they've spent a lot of time coming up with the assignment, and just maybe you don't have the energy to create the rubric right now, but you really want to have the rubric to give to the kids when you hand out the assignment. This is a great tool to help you get there quickly. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will be back with some more soon.